Hey everybody, this is Mr. Beckstrom, and today we're going to be taking a look at one of the questions from the homework in related rates. It says the price P in dollars and demand X for wireless headphones are related by this function here. X is equal to 7,000 minus 0.15 P squared. And what that means is that if I had put in like 10 for P, that would be $10 per wireless headphones. Then I just evaluate this, and this is going to tell me how many I'm going to sell, or an approximate number that I'll sell based off of that price of $10. Now here it says the current price of $100 is decreasing at a rate of $6 per week. Find the associated revenue function with respect to P and the rate of change in dollars per week of revenue. All right, so this is definitely a tricky one, and we're going to have to kind of understand what they mean by revenue and a couple other things here. Let's go ahead and start with just writing down what we know about. Okay, so we have this equation here, X equals, and this relates the demand with the price. So 7,000, 7,000 minus 0.15 P squared. Okay, so we know that. It says the current price is $100. So we're going to do the price is equal to 100. And that it's decreasing at a rate tells us that's a derivative of $6 per week. So this is the price, so we're looking at the rate of change of the price with respect to, and this is per week, so that's time. So dP over dt, I know that looks like a little q there, is equal to, and it's decreasing at $6, so negative 6 here. All right, and we want to find the associated revenue, so we want to know the revenue function with an independent variable P, and we also want to know the rate of change in dollars per week of the revenue. So we want to know D, the change in revenue with respect to time. Okay, so unlike the other examples that we've looked at, we have really two unknowns here. So let's start and see if we can kind of figure out one of these. Well, what is a revenue? Let's think about that as far as the total money that we earn from selling projects. Excuse me, in this case, headphones. So if we sold, let's say, 10 headphones, that would be 10 here, because that's the demand. That's how many headphones we're going to sell. And then that will give us a related price if we were to solve for P, and vice versa. If we were given a price, it would tell us how many we're going to sell. So if I were to sell 8 of them for $10 a piece, what's my total revenue? Well, it would just be 8 times 10, right? So in this case, our revenue function is just our demand, which is the number of items we sell, right? So that's just going to be X, oops, hold on 1 second here, X times, well, what is the other part that goes to that? Well, that is the price, right? So again, if I sold 5 items for $5 a piece, multiply those together, and my total revenue would be $25. All right, so remember, we want to set the revenue function in terms of the price, so that would be P. So that's equal to, well, X is just equal to that, so we can just write that for the X part, 7,000 minus 0.15 P squared. All right, and then times our P. So this whole thing times P. So the revenue function in terms of our price I can just multiply those two together, and I get 7,000 P by distributing that P minus 0.15 P cubed. All right, so now what I'm going to want to do is I want to find the dr over dt, which is the change in revenue with respect to time, which is what they're asking for, the rate of change in dollars per week of the revenue. So I'm going to take the implicit differentiation of both sides. So the derivative of r is just going to be the dr over dt. The derivative of 7,000p will just be 7,000. And since I just took the derivative of a p, I have to put a dp over dt. And minus, bring the 3 out front here. 3 times 0.15 is 0.45. 0.45. And that'll be p squared. And then we just took the derivative of p again, so I have to multiply by a dp over a dt. And then we just have to kind of plug this in here. So the derivative of our revenue with respect to time is equal to 7,000 times the derivative of our price with respect to time, which we know is -6, minus, give myself a little bit more room here, minus 0.45 times my price, which is, going back to my price, is $100. So times 100 squared. 100 squared times my derivative of my price again. So times -6. So now let's just put this in our calculator here. So that's just going to be 7,000 times -6 minus a point, just double check on that one. Yep, 0.45. That's 0.45 times a 100 squared times -6. And that will give us -15,000. So let's see what that means here. -15,000. So I'm going to go back up to the original problem here. So they're asking for the rate of change in dollars per week of revenue. So that would say, at this point, sir, we are losing $15,000 per week in revenue, because that's revenue. And that's pretty much it. If y'all have any other questions, let me know, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.